Welcome to our Brothers in Conversation podcast, powered by Jesse and Shondell. Shondell, you are from?
Bed-Stuy, do-or-die, Brooklyn. That little town.
That's a little town. That's nothing like Hawthorne, Nevada. Population 5,000 cats and dogs.
We are gonna roll.
Here we go.
Rock and roll.
Let's start it out right here. Welcome to our Conversations podcast, powered by Jesse and
Shondell Newsom.
There he is. Why failure is good for success is not what we're going to be talking about today. What we're going to be talking
Learn how to get your false limiting beliefs under control.
Exactly. Learn how to get your false limiting beliefs under control. False limiting beliefs.
False limiting beliefs.
And this is episode 13. So let's talk about what is a false limiting belief. A limiting belief is a false limiting belief. What is that? It's that a person holds true based on incorrect or incomplete conclusions about certain things in life.
Yeah, you know, so you know who that reminds me of?
Who's that remind you
great
of?
Character, Eeyore.
Okay, tell me.
Eeyore?
Yes, I do. Tell us
so
about that.
Eeyore always felt like everything, always stopped because felt like everything was going bad.
Right. Right.
Even before you get started, right? I was telling you before we got on the podcast about my sister, and my sister was saying things like but and kind of sorta, and you know those kind of things that limits puts limitations. And when you start saying
she was doing that as a way to explain her current nature, really what she was explaining that she was actually, at least, did you say it was loud enough? Was it what you were trying to say?
I was trying to pull that over closer to you because I'm not sure how the sound is on that.
On that? Got it?
Yeah, it should be fine.
Okay.
It's good?
Yeah,
Right.
it should be fine.
Okay.
So with your sister, what she didn't realize she was doing, and she wasn't doing it intentionally,
Right.
she was coming from a place of stuck
Yeah.
and scarcity.
Yeah.
And every time you attempted to help her shift her mind towards possibility, she would reject and go backward towards, but you don't know about this limitation, but you don't know about this possibility. And none of the buts had even happened,
Right.
right?
And you know a lot of people do that.
Oh, like naturally.
Yeah, naturally they go, I want to do this, Shondell, but okay, so but what?
Right. So you build it in a false limitation with one single word. That's one word.
That's a pause.
The other thing with the but to me, when you're talking with someone, you're having a great conversation and you're seeking to make a point, and let's say that they don't really agree or they're not buying in.
Right.
They'll say but.
They'll say but.
And when they say but, they just, to me, negated everything you just said.
Yep. Yep.
Instead of saying, well, let's think about what you said.
Yeah.
And let's consider it, even if they don't wholly accept it, that but
Yep.
is a negative for reversing things.
Yep.
Really, which is what you're trying to say to your sister.
Yeah.
You were attempting to get her to understand that, so she could remove it and create.
I was right, and I wanted to start my own business.
Right.
The person who was my GM at the time, none of the guys that were really the iconic guys were real supportive. But this person was like, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? You know, all these different things.
Sure.
So other people can try to put their limitations on you.
All the time.
And even it's like, well, I know you got a wife and 8 kids, so what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to do the same thing I've done here.
Right.
Same exact.
Right.
There's nothing I'm going to change. But what happens is we get a false sense of security. And I'm not, nobody, because my parents told me I need to be a lawyer in order to make money.
Right.
And so don't take those things as being bad things.
Right.
But if that's not where you're supposed to be or where you're supposed to be placed,
right,
then don't limit yourself by what others believe.
I 100%. Don't limit yourself by what others believe.
Yeah.
And how did you come to that? How did you come to that point where you just said?
I came to that point because just at the end of the day, you take a kid out of Brooklyn with kids in high school, and you tell me that I'm going to be in the military, and every time somebody said you can't, I have proven I can.
Right.
So, you know, my captain said they drew straws to see how long I was going to last in the Air Force.
Wow.
Even before I got there.
Why is that?
Because you know, they had the limitation for them was, here comes this kid with a wife and 2 kids, and he got one on the way.
Right.
He is not. There's no way he's going to make this happen. But
Right.
what they didn't understand is I had already won.
Because you had chosen, you had decided, and your attitude came in.
My attitude.
You came in with a positive, proactive, can-do attitude,
Yeah.
and you came in with an attitude that wasn't limiting. Even though you didn't know,
Yeah.
you didn't have proof. It was. We talked about how you live and feeling.
Right.
It was how you felt
Is how I felt.
about your possibilities.
And I had already won. Look, Bed-Stuy, do or die, nickname. 2 out of every 10 black males will come out of Bed-Stuy.
Right.
2.
Wow.
The others, prison, stuck, drunk,
Wow.
dead, whatever.
Right.
I had already won. I'm out of Brooklyn.
Right.
I'm already there. I'm already beating the odds, right?
So how many people are listening right now to this podcast that they are feeling stuck, they are feeling trapped, and they don't even know why they're that way. They don't know what's going on. So the false limiting belief idea or concept that we want to talk about, we're doing this to help people be released from that. You've done it because you've been practicing that for a very long time.
Very long time.
Even before you probably even knew what it was called.
I had no clue what it was called, right? All I knew was that there was some opportunity for me to move out of the space, and then I hate to say this, but I wasn't doing it to prove anybody wrong.
No, that's not what it was about.
It was my belief that I get what you're saying. And then when I was 2 years almost getting out of the military, I married Arlene.
Okay.
We got 8 kids.
Right.
And when I'm transitioning, we go to a program called TAP, Transition Assistance Program.
Okay.
The guy there said, Shondell, are you crazy?
Right.
You got a wife and 8 kids. This is the best place for you to be. I said, why do you think that?
Right.
Oh, the military does this, and that. I said, but I'm not feeling that. There's
Right.
something greater that I can go after.
A pull-in and a call-in, and you knew it.
Yes.
And you had trust and faith in that,
Mm-hmm.
but also it was because of the words you put into your head.
Yeah.
And you didn't allow those negative things, and when they did come, you found a way to squash them.
Yeah.
So let's do a couple of
Yep.
these talking points. The first one, talking about false limiting beliefs, I want you to respond, Chanel. I
Okay.
can't be my real self or I'll be judged. Some people feel that way.
Right. Some people feel
So
that.
when you hear that, that's a false limiting belief. What comes to mind for you?
What comes to mind to me is, look at Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, she was
Right.
told all kinds of negative bad
Hey,
things about herself.
you're short, you're ugly, you're blah, 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 you're black, you're blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That's when you feel like you have to be judged, right? Or you feel like even Eddie Murphy in his earlier dialogue,
Sure.
he said, I was big nose,
He
big
did.
head, Ed,
Yeah.
But now everybody likes me because I'm Eddie Murphy.
Right.
So you should always feel like you are that star. And I'm gonna tell you where mine came from. Is my grandmother, who we talked about before, right? Very, very light-skinned woman. She said, when ever since I was a child, you are extremely special because of who you are.
Your grandmother told you said you should always feel like you're that star.
Yeah.
But what if they don't feel like they're a star, Shondell? Now what?
Now you just have to dig deep into your spirit. You have to dig deep into not allowing yourself to be judged.
But what if they don't know how to do that?
If they don't know how to do that, you know what? Talk to me. I'll tell them. I'll talk to you. Shoot, come to your conference. Come on, learn your colors. Do something. But seriously, when you start to learn who you are and whose you are, and then when you start learning your purpose.
I think it's learning who you are and how you are.
Yeah.
Not just who you are.
Yeah, your DNA.
Who you are and
Know
how
your DNA.
you are.
Sure.
And so it's we have to shift the language.
Mhm.
It's that language, it's that internal language,
Yeah.
that negative naysaying language. That
Get
you
rid of
gotta,
it.
You gotta
Get
blow
rid
that
of
out.
it,
It's
man.
a process.
Get rid of it.
It is.
Don't let people. Remember we were kids, right? We played the dozens.
Yes.
Hey man, you got a big nose. Oh, you got big ears. Oh,
Right. You start talking about daddies and mamas.
Yeah,
and
your
all
mama
that.
this and that, right?
Yeah.
People allow some, and now nowadays it's really, really bullying. They take it real serious, but I never felt bullied I know people were trying to bully me
Sure.
because I was short,
Sure.
you know, dark.
Okay.
You know, never really had nappy hair. My hair is beautiful. That part.
That part you got.
That part I got down. I ain't had a nappy stuff going. But the thing that I'm just telling you is one, affirmation. Give yourself your own affirmation.
Funny you should say
Don't
that.
ask
Funny
other
you should
people
say that because
to approve you.
I was gonna get to the end. You skipped to the end on this. These are called 52 morning mantras.
I didn't even see those. Huh?
52. No, 52 more.
I
No,
ain't-
you
I
don't
ain't
even
get
have
one.
one.
I
No,
didn't get one of
but,
those. No.
but you don't get to take this with you.
That's favoritism.
52 morning mantras.
I'm gonna talk to our producer.
Our
I didn't get one of these producers.
Right. The producer says to save it, and you just jump and bring it in.
There you
Just
go.
like an affirmation. I'll just
Right
read
on.
a few. I'm not going to read all of them,
Yeah.
obviously, but the 52 morning is to retrain how you talk to yourself. Is what you're talking about when you say
Absolutely.
affirmation.
Absolutely.
I'm going to pick them at random. Number 6 says, "It's not selfish to enjoy life. What's selfish is to insist on being negative despite all the positive possibilities available to you."
Right.
That's one. This is one morning mantra to read.
Mm-hmm.
The secret to being grateful is no secret. You choose to be grateful, then you do it again and again every day. Just like you said about the star thing, that goes to your star quality phase. Every day. When you forget, begin again.
Right.
Okay. Point number 12. Your track record for getting through hard days is 100% so far.
Yeah.
See? Let's jump down to 18. Do your thing with passion. This sounds like you wrote this because this is
Hey, that's
reflecting
me.
everything you just said.
Amen.
Do your thing with passion and integrity, even if folks don't notice you. We do what we do not for an applause, but because we know it's right, which is exactly what you just said. Did you not say unless you let go, unless you forgive yourself, unless you forgive the situations, unless you accept that it's over?
So everybody thought when my ex-wife left and she was back and forth, then she left. Everybody thought that I should be bitter.
Mhm.
I should
Angry.
be angry. One, I didn't have time for that. Number two, it goes back to what we said. I had to be bigger than that situation.
You didn't have space or capacity
No,
for
sir.
that. You know why? Because you knew intuitively
Yeah.
that was going to do nothing but hold you down and hold you back. You needed to allow yourself to feel,
Yeah.
because you felt challenging, heavy emotions from that. But those challenging, heavy emotions were not there to ground you.
No.
They were there to ground you.
And you know what's funny is you asked Tiara and you asked my kids, they didn't know the difference, right? And I'm not
The
saying
difference between what and what.
they noticed their mom left, but what they also got, they still got Disney on Ice.
Right,
They still got the carnivals. They still got Christmas.
right.
And the thing that I had to do was exactly what you're saying. Because what if I went in the other way?
You had to take
And
flight.
they get none of that.
You had to take
Yeah,
flight.
you gotta take flight. And people like I always get this. Just Shondell really don't care. Shondell, things are on fire, and you just got this calm, right? Because I believe that there's a solution to everything.
And so that's why you and I are online. Check this out. Here's my belief. And you don't have to believe this, but I do.
I don't want to.
I believe.
I do though.
I know you do.
Only
Even
because I love Jesse.
right.
And how you make me feel.
And it's how I'm gonna leave you. So you do it. So I believe this. I believe that if you live long enough, Shondell,
Mm-hmm.
it will all happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Some people die. Babies die 3 days old, 2 hours old, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. A 21-year-old was in a car accident, whatever.
Right.
If you live long enough, my belief is it'll all happen to you.
Yeah.
You'll have triumphs, you'll have failures,
Yep.
you'll have challenges,
Yep.
you'll have loves, you'll lose loves,
Mhm.
people come and go in your life,
Mm-hmm.
you'll have hopefully happiness and joy, you'll have some despairing moments. I believe, this is my belief, that
Mhm.
at the end of the day, we are all one people,
Right.
and I believe we're all living the same life. We're just at different points on that pendulum
Sure.
as it swings.
Sure.
We're at different points. Some of us are in our formative years. Some of us are in our early years. Some of us are ahead of our times.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that are 21 and they act 51.
Yeah.
I know people that are 51 and they act 18.
Right.
So it's where you're at on that pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you live long enough, it'll all happen to you.
Right.
Meaning, I think this thing called life is about how do we continue to elevate? How do we I think when the negative things or the mishaps or the misfortunes or the unfortunate, when those things happen,
Yeah.
those are points for lesson.
And you know, it's a choice. It's an attitude.
It is
a choice, right?
It's how you manage, how you
It's
do
how
it.
you manage it.
Which is when you talked about mantras and affirmations, that's where this comes from. Let me just read a couple more, then I'm going to put this down. I don't even know which one, I'm just choosing them at random. 31 says, it's not what you say to everyone else that determines your life. It's what you whisper to yourself that has the greatest power, which is what you just said.
Yeah. You know what? I talk to myself all the time, right? If my golf swing is not on, I'm like, hey, come on, Shondell. Really?
Right.
Come on, dude.
Right.
Let's get this
Get
done.
over it.
And yesterday I was filming for my church. I film announcements, and you know, I was getting through, because it's like this. You get this paper, you
Sure.
study it, boom, and you want to do the announcement. So I stumbled through it a little bit, and then I finally said to myself, I said, Shondell, what are you doing?
Right.
Let's knock this out. And the young lady who was doing her first announcement, she said, how did you do that? Like, you shifted and then you killed it. I said, because it is all right here.
Yeah, and you
Right.
have to refocus.
And isn't it the programming, right? In the
It
morning.
is.
And everybody that knows me, I put on my music loud. My wife is like, oh my God. My dog is like, yeah, that means I'm getting ready to go for a walk.
Right.
But you know, it's all in how you look at it, right?
Yeah, it is programming. So talk about programming. Let's look at some more self-limiting beliefs. Number 2, I can't fall in love or I'll get my heart broken.
But if you don't fall in love, you will never know.
If you don't fall in love, you'll never know love. So you're
That's
missing
my
out.
answer.
I agree. I like that one.
Yeah.
Number 3,
FOMO, right?
I like it.
Mhm.
I can't, these are false limiting beliefs again. I can't ask for what I want because I may get rejected.
I will, you know, I can go the other way. I expect rejection. I
Okay.
expect rejection.
Okay. And
Because-
you pursue anyway
Because sometimes people are not on my vision track
and sometimes it's not the right timing for
or the
them
right place.
or for you or the right place. Funny you said that. When this one, I can't ask for what I want because I may get rejected. That wasn't my concern.
Right,
I never asked what I wanted
right.
because I didn't want to put you out.
Yeah,
How do I know I'm putting you out?
yeah,
I made that decision for you.
yeah.
How do I know you're not looking forward to helping me with something?
Right.
But if I don't ask,
You
I don't
think-
get.
Right,
Right?
right.
So that was a self-limiting belief that I had is
Mhm.
I did not like asking because I don't like putting people out.
Right.
How do you know you're putting them out? How
Right.
how did I know by me asking I was putting them out?
How
It was a self-limiting belief that I picked up,
Yep.
and I maintained that for my entire life with the exception of 2 years ago.
Right.
I lived my whole life not asking for that one reason.
Wow.
How much do you think that
Because you don't want to
costs?
be rejected.
No, it wasn't rejection.
Okay.
I didn't want to put you out.
Gotcha. So you were thinking more about my feelings.
I'm deciding for you that I'm
Yeah.
putting you out.
Yeah.
Lisa and I did a program for the Word of Life Christian Academy
Mm-hmm.
about the power of asking.
I know word life.
Yep, they're a good school, great
Yeah.
school. Kelly Marcello is the president.
Okay.
A principal, I should say. So we're going through this. The reason why we did that for them is because we calculated using these statistics and graphs that I created
Mm-hmm.
about when I learned that I needed to start asking. I put myself on a program where I had to ask 5 times a day,
Mm-hmm.
5 days a week. I got 2 days off, and I had to chart those asks. I had to put down who I was asking, what I was asking them for, why I was asking them, and what were the results of that ask.
Okay.
You'll be blown away what the no factor was.
What was it?
Less than 0.5%.
Wow.
I was told no less than 0.5% of the time.
Right.
So I calculated the first month that I started asking, we picked up $4,700 that we didn't have,
Mhm.
specifically tied to the ask.
Mhm.
The next month it jumped to 20,000. It was
Yeah.
22,000
Right.
that we picked up so we did the math
Mhm.
on what if I start asking
Mm-hmm.
at age 16
Right.
to the age I was at the time.
Yeah.
What was that, 135 million?
Yeah.
It was 135 million if I had the same traction that I was having now from age 16 to age 55.
Oh, can I slap you now, lady?
Right? Right? Is that,
Believe me, I was slapping him
right,
quite a
right,
bit.
right.
Yeah.
Was that not a false limiting belief that was
Sure.
costing us?
Listen,
What was it costing us beyond the money?
I'm gonna tell you, the false limiting belief costs you relationships, it costs you money, it costs you life, it
Yes.
costs you experiences.
Yes.
You don't experience certain things because you have that what if
Yes.
or why. Or,
Yes.
you just imagine like
Or doubt.
Yeah, that doubt. Like if my mom
Fear.
If my mom ever said, you know what, I'm not going to send you to Vermont on your summers, right? I would never be exposed to a lot of things I'm exposed to today.
Right.
I think the best thing that ever happened to me is not seeing limitations. The military.
That's huge.
Not seeing limitations in relationships, because I can tell you that growing up in Brooklyn has changed a lot. Brooklyn is so diverse now. But when we were growing up in our neighborhood, kids that didn't get out of our neighborhood had no clue what other people were like.
Right.
They were afraid of Jewish people. They were
Right.
afraid of white people. They were afraid of Irish people. They were afraid of Puerto Ricans. They didn't understand that they were limiting themselves.
Right. Right.
And-
It was costing them.
It was costing.
Actually, you know what was costing them?
Mhm.
Relationship equity building
Yeah.
and building relationships across people that don't have to be from the same place you're from.
Right.
You crossed that barrier in
Right.
the early days. You could articulate the language. You could pick up some of the mores and the values from different cultures.
And more importantly, you can make people feel comfortable.
absolutely.
Because I actually, and I don't know, you guys tell me, because we met several years ago. I think I never give anybody that awkwardness.
No.
When
You
first-
have a nature. You have a nature. This is good for people listening to this program or watching this program to hear. You have a nature about you that's inviting. It's like you walk around with, like right now I see on that hat it says something about Las Vegas.
Mhm.
Really, you have a welcome mat
Yeah.
that's right underneath whatever hat you're wearing.
Mhm.
Even if you're not wearing a hat, you have this welcoming sign.
Right.
That when you're in the space of others, you are welcoming and open for whatever you're about ready to create.
Right.
See, that's very different than limiting and
Yeah.
staving off and saying, I don't want to talk to that person because I can't relate to them. You give yourself an opportunity to relate to everybody. Relate
Right.
to as an opportunity to build relationships.
Sure.
So that'd be good. In families, there are a lot of families, dysfunction in families
Right.
because they're not relating to one another.
Exactly.
They're parents that don't get along with kids and kids
Right.
that don't get along with parents. And I'm talking kids that are 20 years old, that are 40 years old, that are 50, that are 60 years old, still complaining about the parent. Okay, let me see. Your mother's 80 years
Yeah.
old.
Right.
You're 60.
Yeah.
And you're still pissed off about what she did and didn't do as a child.
Exactly. That's
Literally?
limiting you. Yes.
It's limiting
Yes.
not just you, it's limiting the
Yeah.
possibility of that being a decent relationship.
Absolutely.
Get over yourself.
Yeah. Let it go.
Put it down.
And you know, it's interesting, and I want to read the next one. I can't trust people lest they betray my trust. Right.
Okay, so in other words, what they're saying is, want me to respond to that?
Mhm.
I can't trust people because they may betray my trust.
Right.
You're not giving yourself, you're shooting yourself in the foot before you even get up off the ground.
Exactly.
So you're deciding, almost like what I said when I said I didn't like asking because I didn't want to put people out. I'm deciding
Yeah.
something that's not even true.
Yeah. Because you don't know.
And so what is the big deal? Start out with giving them trust. And if they do something to violate that trust, you can analyze that at the time and decide which way you want to go with it. You can call them on it, you can bring that out, or you can say, you know what, this one is not really worth it. I'm going to go ahead and put this down and move on.
Mhm.
Just because someone burns you or
Mhm.
denies a trust thing that you
Mhm.
think or you thought you had,
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world.
But
It's
I'll
a
tell-
learning lesson.
And I'll tell you where people have a hard time with trust is people have a hard time being honest
With themselves
with
first.
themselves, right? And I say this all the time, because people from New York get the reputation of being bold and very brash
Out there.
out there. A lot of times it's just being direct, right? And so having trust and just opening yourself up, but then we know how to close the door quickly.
We
Right?
meaning whom?
Being New Yorkers, right?
Okay.
So somebody comes and you give them that trust. You're not only going to you're not going to beat around the bush.
Right.
I'll say that. Like if somebody hurts my feelings, I'm going to say, "Hey, Jess, you hurt my feelings."
Right.
Right? I'm not.
You're not going to carry it.
Oh, I'm not going to carry it. I'm not going to walk out.
A
And
lot of
say,
people
"Oh."
carry it,
They do, and I think it's
and it festers,
yeah,
and it becomes unresolved.
yeah,
then it turns
especially
into
my southern
animosity.
friends, right? A
Yeah.
lot of my friends from the South, that southern heart is real,
Sure.
right? That caring, that deep
Hospitality,
down
yeah.
hospitality is real. they don't want to hurt your feelings. But then it goes back to what you said, right? Give me the opportunity to see if my feelings gonna get hurt.
Right.
Don't decide that for me. Right.
And if you make a mistake, you correct it.
You correct it.
Do you know one of the best things when it comes to communication, what people don't get, Shondell, is, and I want people to really hear this. This is important. So thank you for this gateway. One of the best things that can happen to you in life and communicating is to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And especially if you're someone of a recognized higher status, whether it's college degrees or professional speaker or Mr. Motivation or Mrs. Motivation, whatever.
Right.
When you make a mistake, I'm going to give you a quick example. I probably shared this in the past. I'm in Kansas City and I'm on the stage and I'm speaking. And I've said probably a couple thousand words so far, but the one word I was about ready to say, I could not say the word. I could not pronounce it.
Okay.
And so I went out to the audience and I said to this audience member, as I was trying to stumble all over the words, and I reached down into the second row with my lapel mic. I said, "Sir, what word am I trying to say?" He says, "Testicular cancer." It brought down the house. Everybody starts laughing and screaming and slapping each other because here I am, Mr. Get Paid by the Word, and I cannot say the word. But this guy just rolls it off the tongue like that.
Right.
So what did that, when he did that, what did that make me with that audience?
Oh, they gained your trust because you were transparent with your flaws.
I can't say it.
Yeah.
Now I'm human.
Yeah.
Now I'm one of them.
And see that, and that's what I think is the challenge for people in trust is one, politically correctness, right?
Yes.
I just don't understand the word. I don't understand the phrase. I don't even know where the hell it came from.
You're like, what's the point of political correctness?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
I think that comes from people trying to fit in.
Yeah, or trying to determine what hurts my feelings or not, right? Ask me the question. Hey, Shondell, I just said this.
How does this
make you feel?
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So and I say this is that I do open myself up, but I'm guarded based on your behaviors. So
you're guarded based on, in other words, you're watching.
Right.
You're watching.
I'm a watcher.
And you say, let me correct something though. I don't think that you are guarded.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have a guard shield ready to come up if you proceed.
Yeah, and real fast.
Because you don't walk around guarded.
No. I don't walk around guarded. But what I will do is if I observe your behaviors prior to our interaction, I will then make sure that shield goes up faster than the other person.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Because I watch people.
I watch people too.
And I watch them when they don't think I'm watching.
Right. And you pay attention to things they don't realize you're seeing.
Exactly.
I totally agree. I like that. That's really good. What's one of your? Can you? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Oh yeah, you do.
You
already did. Don't say I don't want to put you on the spot. Then put me on the spot. See what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Hawthorne guy.
There you go. That's a false limiting belief.
Yeah, that's right. I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't want to ask you for money, but what can I go on? Can you hook a brother up?
20.
Go ahead.
False limiting belief. Do you have a false limiting belief that you may have carried around as a young person at all, or not necessarily? Nothing comes to mind for you.
So I will tell you that at one point I struggled with who I was because I was different, right?
Different how?
So you're in this neighborhood and everybody. So back then we carried backpacks. Kids carry iPhones.
Sure.
Now we carry backpacks. So I love books. So my routine was I do it now. I carry my books with me.
Bill Gates, because he does the same thing.
He
carries a big bag of books.
I do. I carry a bunch of books just in case I want to read something.
Right.
And what's interesting is I would say that what kept hitting me is I'm in this neighborhood and everybody is saying you're trying to be white. That was our. So I had this, and my father kept saying, don't put that in your mind because it's going to limit you.
Right.
Because, and this is the way my father, this is the way he articulated it. Why do you want to even be just white?
Right.
Because they don't have all the answers. Why do you not want to be Native American? Why don't you want to be Scandinavian?
Right.
Why don't you want to be Canadian? Why don't you want to be whatever you want to be?
Right.
So he took it from where people were telling us, if you speak a certain way, if you go to certain schools, you're white.
You're attempting to act that way.
Right.
When really you were just wanting to be understood.
Right.
You're articulating language so that on a universal basis you're understood.
Sure.
That's all it was about.
Yeah, that's all it
It was
was.
about communication.
It's about communication.
Not about ethnic or color.
But what people thought was my limitation has become my strength.
What people attempted to label you
Right.
as a limitation.
Exactly. So
Having to become a strength.
Yeah.
No, but here's what's fresh about what you're sharing, Shondell.
Mhm.
The fact that was happening isn't really where the jewel is. The jewel is that you had a mature enough mind to overcome that and not succumb to it.
Well,
Because you easily could have caved in and changed your language to fit what they wanted you to
exactly.
mold and wanted you to slide
But I'll tell you that the interesting part is that when they reflected as I returned from the military or went back home, even when I go back to Brooklyn now, I still didn't change. I still had the roots of the neighborhood. I was very different in the way that I love books. I love the library. I love music. There were so many different things that I loved that it didn't really bring me down. Like I never walked around like, yo, what's up, son? It's not, that's what you want to do. That's cool. But yo, what's up, son is a language that works in Brooklyn. It works in New York.
in a certain area.
In a certain area.
But it's not universal.
But it's not universal in the
It's not
military.
universally understood.
It's not universal in corporate America. I can't be at station casinos in the boardroom like, yo, check this out, general manager, son. You've
already turned everybody into real life.
Because I'm not universal.
Even if the next thing you had to say would make them $50 million, they don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it because
they can't hear it from you.
Right.
Interesting. I grew up in a predominantly white environment as well in northern Nevada, Hawthorne, Nevada. Obviously, we've said that a number of times. Reno, the first 5 years, and Hawthorne, the next 12. And I think all of us as young folks, and even mature folks who I think sometimes we fall into this trap of seeking to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we don't even know we're doing it.
Right.
But it's very big.
Yeah.
Language was very, very important to me growing up, and wanting to be understood is really deep within my soul. And it doesn't have to even do with language; it has to do with just who I am.
Right.
Language is another benefit of that. But speaking standard English to me was about being able to articulate in a broad range of circles.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm speaking standard English doesn't mean when I go to Brooklyn that they can't understand me.
Right.
They can.
Right.
But if I speak some sort of dialect that's infused in that Brooklyn community, and I take that, say, to the World Trade Center, they might not understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah.
So let me just give you a quick story about the power of this. And when I think about the people that I grew up with, the Don Del Portos, the Brian Blunts, the Tom Kaminskis, the Kathy Suttons, and the people like that, these are some of the names that I grew up from junior high school on. Let me tell you the power of this. Pardon me. When you live a lifestyle focused on how you leave people feeling, and you have the best of intentions of leaving them feeling awesome, which you do. I've heard it in you. It comes out. It's all over you, and that's one of the things that you and I have in common. We can look at each other and have a conversation with no words.
Right.
Because you already know.
And
I'm living it, and you're living it, and there's a synergy between that.
Yeah.
But what happens with that, Shondell, that's infectious.
Yeah.
People want that. People connect with that. You know why? Because if we're left to our own self, we will go crazy. We will make ourselves crazy.
Right.
If you stab someone on the street, you're going where?
You're going to jail.
Okay, once you go to jail and you're convicted of that crime because the witnesses that saw you stab them, now where are they going to send you?
Prison.
To prison.
Yes.
For stabbing someone, right? Now you're in prison, and you stab somebody in prison, now where do they send you?
They send you to solitary. Right.
They send you to solitary, so you get to be by yourself.
Right.
Why is that punishment, Shondell?
Yeah, right.
Why?
Why is it? It was not punishment for me, but
No,
most people.
in jail, in the whole, it's going to be punishment for
But
you.
also, it's funny because then you get some level of respect in jail.
Fine, but I'm talking about the harshest punishment that you can get after you've already gone to prison is to go to solitary confinement.
Sit by yourself.
Because you will make yourself crazy. They do that to mess with you.
Yeah, they mess with your brain. Yeah.
So
it's designed to make you go crazy.
Exactly. So my point is, we want and need one another, and it is in building relationships that we build the best lives. If we are left to an island of ourselves, we will make ourselves crazy.
Sure.
So it's good to be able to tap into that how you live and feeling concept and get rid of those false limiting beliefs and think about how you leave people feeling. Now check this out. It's so infectious that I've got she was my best friend in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
Her name is Kathy Sutton Vidal. She was Kathy Sutton at the time.
Right.
She's flying all the way from Alaska
Mm-hmm.
to Vegas
Mm-hmm.
this Friday to hang out with Jesse and Lisa. You know
Yeah.
why?
Why?
She said, I love watching how you guys live.
Right.
I love what Lisa posts on Facebook and what you
Yeah.
post, more Lisa than myself.
Yeah.
I love being connected with you. I want to come and be with people that are getting it right, that
Sure.
are living it well. She's feeling this conversation
Right.
through Facebook.
Right.
This is my 7th grade best friend. I'm 59.
Yeah. Imagine that, huh?
Think about that. What do you hear? When I
Well,
say,
you know,
what are your thoughts?
I tell you that it boils down to how people feel, right? And then
How you live them feeling.
yeah, how you leave them feeling, and then they want to be connected to people with great feelings.
Exactly.
It's not,
you know
you
why?
know-
Because it gets inside of them.
Sure, yeah, and it makes you feel great. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you how people can really get that feeling on their own, right? Number one,
Surround yourself with cool people.
right, real cool
Oh,
people,
go ahead.
people with great energy, right, and
Yeah.
great love. And here's the other thing. I would say this: don't think about how you leave them feeling. Make a practice and behavior
I agree.
so that it becomes a habit
I agree.
of how you leave them
I
feeling.
agree. I
Because if
agree.
you walk in, if you overthink anything, you'll screw it up, right? Or you'll be less authentic.
Correct.
What I will say is Jesse, Shondell, Lisa, and our universe is about people developing behaviors which become habits of how you leave them feeling.
Absolutely.
Habits you don't think about.
Right.
It's just instantaneous. You
Right.
walk into a room.
Right.
Everybody loves you because you are paying attention. You're already thinking about how they feel. When we do
100%. I'm thinking about how they feel, Shondell.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how is it possible for me to make the connections?
Yeah.
You know, the first thing I do when I walk into any room,
Mhm.
whether it's a conference room or a playroom
Yeah.
or someone's home
Yeah.
or a restaurant, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
The moment I walk into a room where
Mhm.
there are other people, the
Mhm.
first thing I do is I take a measurement of a barometer of that room.
Yeah.
What are the dynamics? What is the energy level in this room?
Mhm.
And I seek to make sure that my energy levels are not over too much for that room or too much for that space.
Right.
I'm not to fit in.
Right.
I do it to be able to make connections and be able to have the energies be, consistent with my own, with me checking in with them and them checking in with me.
Right.
So I do that to determine, do I need to turn my light up or down?
Yeah.
Do I need to bring more light or turn the light down?
Right.
What do I need to do to feel comfortable in this room and have other people feel comfortable that I am in the
Sure.
room?
You're adjusting. You're adjusting.
I'm adjusting.
Yeah. You're
I
adjusting.
I don't even think about, to your point, it's a habit.
Yeah.
So let's pop up a few more of these talking points.
Can I go to the last one?
Yeah, pick it.
Because recently I have been talking about. I went to Reno, close to your hometown.
Yes.
I
That
blinked.
was my first hometown,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, and Reno is a big city compared to Hawthorne there, right?
Reno's a thriving metropolis compared to Hawthorne.
I blinked and I looked out the window and they go, "There's Hawthorne."
but we got you back with the 23-mile Walker Lake that you had to go around.
That's right. Yeah. So the one I was in Reno for this reason. I was there for there's a program that the Urban Chamber will be starting called Bridges from Poverty.
Okay.
Then there's another program called Employer Resource Network.
Okay.
Both of those programs are designed, the main one is Bridges from Poverty, is designed to help people change their mindset from poverty.
Okay, good.
Right?
I like it.
And the haves and the have-nots. That's like the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. I tell you when
Which is the false limiting belief that you're
Right.
reading, that you're sharing with them.
the
Okay.
false limiting belief number 9. I jumped all the way down because I could do that. I do my math. But anyway, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
That's a false limiting belief that's
False
out there.
limiting belief, right?
Okay.
Because if you think about some of the people like the Oprah Winfrey's, the Tyler Perry's, you think about those
Bill
folks,
Gates.
Bill Gates, right? They
Warren Buffett.
were not always rich.
No, and take a Warren Buffett.
Take a Warren Buffett, right?
is so humble. The
And
dude,
brilliant.
but he's down to earth. Still lives in the same home. Drives a modest car. Loves
Nebraska
hamburgers.
Cornhusker.
You know.
You know what's funny is Arlene. The first time I told Arlene about Warren Buffett,
Yeah.
she said, "Well, why are you interested in that guy?" I said, "That's the guy I want to emulate." Like,
Yeah.
he would walk down the streets of New York, right?
Yeah.
David Letterman would get noticed. Warren Buffett could walk right past him, and nobody would know who he was, right?
Right.
And in fact,
He can buy David Letterman a gazillion times over and over
Oh
with his
yeah,
wealth.
and I gotta tell you,
Yeah, Lisa was telling me Warren Buffett was standing in line at a hot dog stand 15, 20 minutes to get a hot dog. He could buy the hot dog stand
Right.
and have it be delivered to his office if he wanted to.
right? And the other thing about him, he never stayed in like those ritzy
Nope.
hotels and
Nope.
stuff like that. He would go home. They said he'd just go back to Nebraska or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what's funny. You know who one of his good friends are? One of his best
I
friends.
know Bill Gates for sure, but who else?
LeBron James.
Oh, wow.
When LeBron James signed his first or second contract, he befriended Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has become an advisor to LeBron James.
Oh, he's going to be fine then.
Yeah.
Nice.
So and go think about that because
So did you talk about the rich get richer and the poor get poorer?
Okay.
LeBron James didn't start out rich.
No.
Nor did Warren Buffett, but
No.
now they're teamed up.
they're aligned. Right?
Wow.
Isn't but that's and here's the other thing is define again when I talk about poverty, the mindset of poverty is
Right.
what traps you and keeps you limited.
Right.
When you start thinking you're in poverty and you start thinking I'm poorer than the next guy, you're always stuck there.
I never had that thought. Check this out. Go back to Reno, Nevada.
Mhm.
My first 5 years we lived in the projects. Projects usually have some fencing around it.
Yeah.
I call that my first gated community.
Right.
My first gated community was intended to keep people
In.
in.
Yeah.
I ultimately grew up and bought into another gated community, but it only had 27 homes in this one.
Right.
And they started at 350,000
Yeah.
back in the 90s.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was to keep people out.
Right. Big difference.
When I was in that first gated community,
Mhm.
I positioned myself with my head between the bars. You know why I put my head between the bars growing up in the projects? You know why?
Why?
Because I knew there was more out there.
So you're looking outward.
I
Right.
where I was living.
Yeah.
I knew it. I just kept looking through the bars
Oh yeah.
until I could get through the bars, until I get on the outside.
Sure.
So I never had a poverty mindset, even though, government cheese and butter and bread
Mm-hmm.
was a staple
Right.
at that time.
Yeah. Oh, actually, delicacy, right?
Yeah, life is not only about where you're at; it's
Right.
also about where you're going.
Exactly. Yeah, and you got that, but that's the point, right? Is when people start throwing statistics, they start throwing numbers, they
Right.
start saying, Jesse, you will not get out of these
Statistically,
projects.
yeah.
Statistically, blah blah blah. I don't. Statistics mean nothing but a number.
And you can make statistics mean almost anything you want to mean. Check this out. Growing up, because of the statistic game you're talking about, I thought that I would never live to the age of 30.
Right.
I never planned my life after 29.
Right.
Until I got to 30 and went, okay, I better start thinking about it because I'm here. You know why? Because the statistic is that the fastest dying group in America are young black males.
Right. Yeah.
That doesn't mean that's me.
Right. Right. And,
So-
and then the other thing is I'm one of those people who not only look at I'm a marketing person, so statistics and numbers mean opportunity,
Yeah.
right? And this is where I lose people
Yeah.
because I say if there's only 20%,
I like it. I agree.
If there's only 20%,
I'm in that 20.
Yeah,
I'm on that side.
I'm on
of the
that
stat.
side.
Yeah.
But now, how do you flip that number? So if there's only 20% of the black men being fathers in their households in the United States, how do you change that?
When you
As
start,
opposed to you living in it and absorbing it and saying, okay, I choose to be the 20, I choose to be the 80.
you start by doing exactly what you've already done, Shonda. You become a difference maker.
Yeah,
You become a role model without saying I'm a role model by
Yeah.
doing the work, by making the difference, by showing up, by being
Yeah.
present for your kids.
yeah.
There's a
And
couple of
understand
things.
that, yeah.
There's a couple of things I want to share here that I thought was really cool. Here, check this out. This is from Louise Hay. She said, "We learn our belief systems as very little children, and then we move through life creating experiences to match our beliefs.
Yeah.
Look back in your own life and notice how often you have gone through the same experience.
Mhm.
I thought that was huge because there's some false limiting beliefs that we learned early on that I want to share that I thought about as think about this. I want you to finish my words. Hold up. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words
Will never hurt me.
That's the biggest lie I ever learned.
Right.
You finished it. You didn't even know I was going to say it.
Yeah.
You knew exactly what I was because you learned the same thing.
Mhm.
How false of a limiting belief is sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Words can freaking pummel you.
And what I learned later on in life is words can destroy your mind, which is much bigger than your bones. Your bones can heal faster than
So
your
why
mind.
were we taught that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? Why were we taught that?
We were taught that because a lot of people had those same false limiting beliefs.
Yes.
And words, and we learned later as we became more educated, my major at CSM was psychology. I learned that actually, think about this, the mind is the worst. Once the mind goes, a lot of other things go.
Absolutely.
That's your central nerve.
That's CPU. That's the central processing unit.
Yeah, and I've broken bones. I had 2 ankle surgeries.
Look at that finger still sticking out over there from football.
This one.
Okay,
And
but you're over it.
Yeah, but you start a word maybe like I'll see you 20 years later and I'll never forget that word you said.
Exactly.
Right?
Because it cut inside. It got to that feeling part, the how you leave the feeling part that we're talking about.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah. So words to me, in fact, Elie Wiesel, some people say Wiesel.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can actually kill me.
It's true. It's true. Because some words have destroyed people because they never got over some of those broken places.
Yeah.
How about this one? Assume that there's a 5-6-year-old boy. Okay.
Mhm.
Let's assume that he gets his finger slammed in the door.
Yeah.
So finish this for me. Johnny, stop it. Little boys don't
Cry. Right.
What do you mean little boys don't cry? He just got a finger slammed in the door.
Yeah.
You expect him not to cry?
Yeah.
And I wonder why a lot of men are not in touch with their emotions. I wonder if that false limiting belief has something to do with it.
Yeah, man up.
Right?
Don't act like that. Don't
Right?
be sissy.
Right? You know another false limiting belief? I don't know. To say, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
No. I had a couple clients, young clients that I served recently, that every time I'll call this one Sarah, just to protect the names. So Sarah, every time I would ask her a question, she would say, I don't know. And every time, how many times out of 10 do you think it was the best answer possible? I'm watching. I let it go for a few sessions. On the 3rd session, I said, okay, by the way, from now on, you are not allowed to tell me that you don't know anymore.
And then what happened?
She said, huh? I said, you cannot tell me you don't know anymore. It's unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
I said, do you know why I'm asking that? She says, no. I said, because every time I ask you, you tell me I don't know. And when I challenge you, you tell me not only the answer, but the best answer 9 out of 10.
Right.
Which means you really do know.
Right.
So I made her stop doing it. And she stuttered for a few bits, but then she stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
After about 3 months, I said, now, by the way, this I don't know campaign, I don't want you telling anybody else you don't know.
Right.
Ever. Now you can say, you know what? Let me get that answer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do some research. You do not get to say you don't know.
Right.
It was, you know what it was doing to her? It was crushing her self-esteem.
Right.
But it wasn't even true.
Yeah.
She did know, Shondell.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think about that story.
I think people, when you say self-limiting belief, they don't have the confidence to put themselves out there because of what we said before. You get judged,
Right.
right?
Fear of image, fear of being
image,
judged.
right? I don't want to be judged. You're asking me these questions, and if I don't get it quite right, you're gonna judge me.
Right.
Where people who don't have those limitations, I'm gonna answer to the best of my ability.
Right.
And you figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, you don't put all that stuff on yourself.
But Sarah telling me I don't know
Mhm.
was crushing her self-esteem. Do you know what happened? She was stuck at home, spent a lot of time by herself,
Mhm.
afraid to get out, didn't have any friends.
Yeah.
But she really wanted more, but she didn't know how to do it.
Right.
Just starting to remove those false limiting beliefs. Shortly after that, within 6 months, people were saying, I love being around you because you're so easy to be around. You're so nice to talk to. She had no idea she even had that.
Right. Yeah, because you had to unlock that.
Yeah, I had to unlock it.
Yeah, you had to unlock that. I want to try this one.
Do it.
So this one's false all the way. Money is the root of all evil. And actually, this is one of those situations where a few words actually change the whole.
Yeah, this is a context from the Bible.
Right.
The real saying is, for the love of money only is the root of all evil.
Exactly.
Not money is the root of all
Right.
evil.
And people.
Now you're a Bible guy, so did I get that right?
You got it right.
Give
And
me some.
people actually took that and they changed it. And when they changed it, because and this is where like even some of the old Bible carrying folks in New York, they were like, oh, you love money.
Right.
It's
a bad thing.
And money is the root to all, but there are many things that are the root to evil, right? There are the 7 deadly sins. There are a lot of things that are root to evil. That what people, like you said, the love of only money,
right,
is the root to all evil.
Right.
And what that means is, if you're running a business just because you want to make money, it serves nobody else any purpose.
And not
because why am I writing a check to Jess? Because you want to make money.
Right.
I don't care.
Right. No.
But Jesse has to say, I am here to inspire you. I'm here to coach you. I'm here to lift you up.
Right.
I'm here to level you up.
Right.
You have to be focused on that person.
That's the
if
biggest
you're
focus.
just focused on your checkbook,
no,
those folks don't connect with you.
That's right. And they can tell too.
Yeah. And I had a guy argue with me in Next Level one year, and he said, Shondell, I've made a lot of money in my life, and it was because I love money. I said, interesting. So you're telling me that your customers paid you because you said you love money.
Right.
Right? Now, where's that money now? Why the hell are you in this class?
Right.
Because again, it's that falsehood. So
yeah.
And this is what I learned. When my father started becoming more prosperous, right? That's why people were saying, oh my God, he's doomed. The other one is, it's hard for a rich man to get into heaven as it is a camel to get through the eye of a needle, right? You've heard that one.
I have.
So that they put these two together.
Sure.
But here's the piece that they miss. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So walking through the Red Sea, right?
Right.
Climbing mountains.
Sure.
Doing coming back from the dead.
Right.
All of these things that are miracles, it could be a miracle.
Right.
Right? So you being rich, it didn't say that you're not. It said as hard as.
Right.
And why does it become harder?
Right.
Why if you have money does it become harder? It becomes not if you have money, but if your motivation is money.
Sure.
It becomes harder because of all of the other distractions and all of the other things that you can't focus on being the human and the good. That's why you see a lot of celebrities crash.
You're like you're out of touch.
You're out of touch.
Because your central focus on that, which is money is a vehicle of exchange. Money is energy.
Right.
And money is part of our society.
Right.
It is not going away.
Right. It's not going away.
But it does play a place in your world, but not a solo place. In other words, Lisa and I believe in what we call biobalancing: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, and financial balancing.
Okay.
We keep those pillars in balance.
Yeah.
We're living a wonderful life. If one of those pillars drops, it affects all
Absolutely.
the other pillars.
Yes, sir.
But if we didn't have that rounded source of biobalancing, and we were only focused on being wealthy or being rich or making money or all that, I think that's that is limiting. That's limiting your life.
Sure.
Because life is not only about money.
You can't put limit. That's self-limiting in itself.
It is.
All you're focused on is the money.
Exactly.
It is limiting you. Did you see the other day I posted on Facebook, and I did this for a reason. My priorities, right?
Okay.
And my priorities, people because people keep asking me questions or asking me, hey Shondell, let's do this and let's do this and I'm like, first, before you ask me that question, understand my priorities, right? Why do I focus on business, right? I focus on business for a couple of reasons. One, it takes care of my family, right? Just like somebody else has a job, I have a business.
Right.
It also allows me the opportunity to help other businesses. I have a fundamental belief that if small businesses are healthy, the country is healthy. That's my fundamental belief because we pay taxes, help with education, help with charities, all that. So my first priority is business. My second priority is me. And I'll tell you why that is. Because the business piece, for me, I have to have all of those things you just talked about, what you call it,
biobalancing. Physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and financial balance.
So everybody who is on Facebook, everybody who's listening to this podcast, write that down.
Physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and financial balance.
Now, what's funny is we didn't talk, right? But you go to that Facebook.
Oh, they in there?
It's in there, right? Because I have to be firm. This is what I tell
solid.
you. I have to be solid. My feet have to be firm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In order for me to lift somebody else up. If we're both hanging from the ledge,
it's not going to work.
We ain't got to pray.
That's
you watch
right.
those movies when people are hanging and you're on my belt, right?
Yeah.
Both of us going to fall.
Yeah, you've got to
You just might fall faster than I will.
Correct.
Right?
You got to have a solid foundation to be able to carry others.
Right? So number 2 is me.
Yeah.
So you go from my business to me, right? Because my business have to feed all of us. It has to, me, my employees.
Well, that's where you and I are different. You say your business first, you second. I'm not gonna try to change you. I trust me. I wasn't even in my priority list.
Sure.
Until I fixed it.
Sure.
I put me first. Right. And here's why I put me first over the business. Because if I'm at my best, I can do better with my business.
Right.
That's why I put me first.
No, I get that. And I flipped it only because for me, the way my brain works, I have to focus on something. And it may come from that motivation of, and not just me as a business, I'm saying business in general, not my business.
Fair enough.
Business in general.
Fair enough. And I know we're almost out of time too, but biobalancing is me saying I am electing to be biobalanced in order to do all of what you're saying. Lisa is electing to be a biobalanced and to tap into that biobalance so she can serve the kids better, our clients better, our Shondell's better,
right,
the world better.
Yeah.
That's Lisa focusing on Lisa.
No, but I'm not saying focus. I'm saying my priority. I'm gonna say this. My priority is the universe of business.
Okay.
Right? So that's not just my company.
Okay.
It is the universe of business. Okay. Is where Shondell wants to focus on. Okay. Right. And then the family comes next. Okay. Because the family is all of those things relate back to me. They all have like a almost like a wheel. You see a wheel going like this. It's not a hierarchy. It's like a wheel. They all gears work together.
You know what you just did with that? You just gave us our next podcast. Where are your priorities?
Yeah.
Let's focus on that. What do you think?
No, I love it. And the reason and the other thing
priorities.
The other thing I think about business is business principles and business, the thought. And listen, I'll tell you like this. I think of business, and I'll give you how my strange brain is. I think of God's work as a business.
I don't disagree with that.
So I'm not talking about business in the sense of what people may have learned at Harvard.
Right.
I'm saying the business of community, the business of God, the business of the business piece is universal to me. Yeah. And then that's where I get all. And then I think the fourth one is what I put in was community. Okay. But community to me is. I'm sorry, succession. Succession is where, and what I'm saying is, I'm really focused on developing youth. Right. Because I feel like at the end of the day, Jesse, not that you don't have a chance, right? You don't have a chance in life, but focusing on youth changes the whole future, right? I love what Steve Jobs did. Like, I'm going to change a generation that's not born yet.
Right.
So my little my little granddaughter, who will be 2 in a couple of weeks, she already knows how to Skype. I know how to FaceTime.
Sure.
Right. I'm like, Tiara, what do you want? That's Riley. Hey, Papa. You know, it's funny because if you thought about it 20 years ago, that never existed.
Right.
So that's the mindset of where I think priorities, and that's when you set priorities, that's where you don't limit yourself.
Well said. Well, that's a good closer too. That's a great way to close. When you set priorities, you don't limit yourself. And that's going to be our next podcast. I think that's a good one to dig into. We could really put some meat into that one. Tell people how they can find you, Shondell.
They can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, just type in Shondell Newsom, you'll find me.
Okay, I like it. You can catch us on Facebook and YouTube as well. And we're going to close this out by saying, at the end of the day, getting through life, building great relationships, and leaving your signature behind is all about
How you leave them feeling.